I'm Patrick King, and you are watching SYNTHWAVE Ultra. Mashing up the slick production and neon aesthetics of synthwave with the soaring, epic bombast of power metal, this week's guests have established themselves as one of the most unique acts in synthwave, with their blazing riffs, searing synths, and over-the-top presence. My guests this week are Power Rob and Dark Rob, aka Megatronix. All right, I'm here with Power Rob and Dark Rob of Megatronix. If you guys want to go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Hey everybody,
I am Dark Rob,
I'm Power Rob.
and we are Megatronix.
Yeah, thank you guys very much for joining me. So, how did Megatronix come about? Like, how did you guys get into the whole like synthwave meets power metal thing?
Kind of by accident, really. I knew that I had an idea of what I wanted to do, something musically. Like, I had just started getting into the genre, and I just had this thought in my head of like, what would one of my favorite bands, Fear Factory, sound like doing one of these kind of songs, because they dabble in the keyboards a little bit, but not full on. And I was just like, I wonder what it would sound like if they did it. So I made the music that became My Fight Time in that vein. And I know I wanted vocals on it. At that time, Power Rob and Thrill Killer invited me to be in their music video universe thing as one of the villains. And the 80s aesthetic was there already, like all the jackets and the glasses and everything. And Rob's got the chops, probably one of the best around locally.
Thanks.
And I knew if anybody was going to appreciate what I wanted to do, it would, and be easy to work with aesthetic, like with the aesthetic and the all that stuff, it would be him. So I sent him the music. I said, hey, do you want to lay some vocals on this? And then it kind of became the idea of like, we need a name. So we named it. And at the time there was this Battle of the Producers thing going on in the the Recall FM Retro Pool Facebook group. And it was kind of like, well, let's put it out. If people dig it, then maybe we should think about doing a whole thing out of it and make an album. And if they don't, then they don't. And we tried. And they dug it because we won. And so then it was like, all right, let's do it full time. And here we are.
Yeah, no, around that time, probably in 2016, I was stumbling on some of the, I guess, more quintessential kind of entry synthwave artists like Kavinsky, Laserhawk, stuff like that. And I initially, when I made my other band, Thrill Killer, I was trying to make a departure from general from kind of the arena metal and rock stuff my prior band, Ares, had done. And I guess I felt that the amount that I was experimenting, I wasn't really quite sure if it was a level that at the time my band was able to necessarily fully jump into. And that's when we first did our song King of 1984, which was the first of our music film series. Around the time I worked with Robbie, we were working on our follow-up music film, which is when we started really diving into the 80s aesthetic with San Francisco Moto, which is kind of a celebration of late 70s, early 80s funk. So we were already dabbling in some of that stuff. And I was starting to kind of get into a lot of some of the more synth pop kind of artists and whatnot. So when he first approached me after we worked together on the Moto video, I was initially under the impression it was going to be like some pop stuff, and so I didn't hear the music yet, because I told him a few times like, yeah, I'm kind of done with doing metal and stuff, because I'd done it for goodness probably almost 10 years at that point. And so initially when I heard it, I was expecting some pretty light, smooth stuff. And I think part of it was because I was working with this guy, Daniel Ippolito, and I part of why I liked it was that it was easy on the voice. Like, I had to worry about like really flexing anything too high, and I could do, usually with the smooth stuff, you can kind of do a lot of that with, even if you're like not feeling that well, but with like power metal, you got to make sure you're at the top of your game, for everything. And when I heard it, what became My Fight Time, I liked it. It was definitely not what initially I thought it was going to be, but it was an instrumental that I could just listen to because I just liked hearing it. And that's not too common when I'm given songs to collaborate on. Usually I had to like listen to it a lot and figure out what I can add to it to kind of see what I can do to raise it up. But really, i510 didn't need too much. I felt that I was already adding to a really strong composition. And yeah, it was really just one song. Like once we were done with that one, it was kind of back to work at Thrill Killer. It was let's work on the third music video, which became Digital Desperado, and we wrapped up our EP, the San Francisco Moto EP, and we then submitted it to Recall, and you know, I think we've both been in a lot of Battle of the Bands kind of events before, and usually they're a complete waste of time. You never plan to win those things. We have seen some of the weirdest ways people have stolen competitions from time to time. There was one that I was in a long time ago, where we discovered botting, and we were actually in the middle of figuring out this one guy was really making thousands of fake accounts just to win. So at that point, we just really submit to stuff like that, just to submit. You know, it was like whatever. You know, the problem is when you go into those to win, it will consume you. Like it will just consume you for weeks and weeks and weeks. And so it was really just we threw it in there. You know, we had one song, we weren't expecting to win, and we were up against a lot of more traditional synthwave. And we saw a couple comments like that, which at the time I found kind of amusing. You know, like, oh, this is not exactly synthwave, and we kind of took that in stride. You know, it was kind of funny because part of me was kind of like, well, good. You know, I didn't want it to sound like the same thing. I mean, like any musical style, there's a lot of repetition going on. Like, there's a lot of artists that do kind of similar and whatnot. And so part of me was kind of like, okay, good, we're distinct then. You know, like if we don't sound like synthwave, wasn't sure if there was a rule book for that, but you know, we ended up winning with one tune, which was very surprising. These guys we were up against had like full catalogs and, you know, prior releases and stuff, and it was really humbling just to make it to the finals. Like I was just happy that we even made it to the, you know, past a few rounds, considering the fact that we only had one song. It was more just the fact that our discography was literally in its infancy. Like we're really not sure what to do with it. And so we made our follow-up, which I believe was it Spoke to Us, and we continued down that path for a bit. And I was actually having this talk earlier today about actually album timelines, and I brought up Powerwave. How with Powerwave, I think we were up to about 3 songs, maybe 4, and I just kind of I decided, okay, it's time for us to get an album done. Like whatever it took, let's just do it. Like let's just get it over with. Send me whatever you got. You know, we'll go in the studio. We'll cut the fat anywhere it needs to be cut or whatever, and just figure out what needs to be finished. And really, all we had to do, really, as far as I remember, was a little nipping and tucking on what became Maverick Hunter. Aside from that, we just got it done. So that's really how that worked out. I will have to say that the play counts on Megatronix are surprising every single day. Like, I think Powerwave at this point is 250,000 plays on Spotify, just total. We didn't expect something this successful for a two-man band that I think we've spent maybe a grand total of $30 on promotion. Like,
wow.
We don't spend anything on it. In fact, it's something after this maybe we'll start getting more into. But point is, that many plays with pretty much zero promo. It's mind-blowing. So yeah, it's kind of how it built up. I mean, I know my background, I'm very familiar with power metal. It's for me, like, you know, it's kind of an old friend, I refer to it as. Like I jokingly say I've quote unquote done my time in power metal. I was in a power metal rock band, Ares, for 7 years. Opened for Symphony X, Sebastian Bach twice, Metal Church, Doro. My other bands opened for Stradivarius, Pagan's Mind, and I starred in a power metal rock opera in 2012. I then did it with this full symphony in 2014, 2015, or 2016. Prog metal operas, you name it. And so by the time it was Megatronix, it was kind of like I had been experimenting with a few other styles. And the fun thing with Megatronix is, because of that, I know when to go full power metal and other times when to try other stuff, like when to go a little pop here, a little soul here. And it makes for a fun way to experiment with otherwise pretty involved music.
Yeah, what I like the most about us is it's very 50-50 down the middle as best as it could possibly be. Like, I knew I wanted it to be a little bit heavy, you know, because again, that's my background, that's part of Power Rob's background, and I knew he could do it. The power metal part of the metal genre, it lends itself to synthwave very well. Like even if you listen to, like, as far back as, say, early like Mega Man soundtracks. If you were to take all that MIDI work and translate it to real instruments like guitar and stuff, it's like borderline Maiden,
Mhm.
you know? And like the dueling, like harmonized guitars and everything. And even when power metal uses symphonics and everything, you take that symphonic and you just turn it into analog synthesizers, and instead of just doing straight like speed drums the whole time, you put like a danceable beat to it. They meld very well. The thing that even let me know in the beginning that it was okay to make like heavy synthwave or synth metal, depending on what you want to call it, is like when I went down that first rabbit hole, Dance with the Dead. I was like, oh, okay. It's cool to put like chuggy. It's okay to put chuggy guitars into stuff like this. Or, you know, later on, Street Cleaner, he lays it on heavy. He's more like heavier, darker tone analogs, but it's thick. It's got some of that to it, and that, you know, and because of Rob and I's previous backgrounds, and I'm currently technically in a we call it historical power thrash band as a drummer, so that there's a little bit of that in it. But yeah, we try to keep it 50-50 down the middle. And the title of the first album, Power Wave, was because saying we're a synthwave band, or we're a synthwave power metal band, is just too long-winded. And there was always jokes of like this wave or that wave, or like TV wave or flag wave, you know, stuff like that. So then it's just just power wave. That's what we are. That's what we sound like. It's half and half, and we're like, all right, well, let's just name the album that, because it pretty much explains the whole album in one word.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's definitely. I mean, that's one of the things that got me into you guys, because I mean, I'm obviously a huge synthwave fan, but I also really love power metal. So seeing these two things mashed up, and like mashed up as well as you guys do it, and like you said too, like it is really cool seeing how a lot of these like synth elements lend themselves really well to the, like, you know, the really like bombastic, over the top nature of power metal, and vice versa. So yeah, I think that works really well for you guys.
Thank you.
Hey, you.
Yeah, and it's cool too, because like you said, like it really it makes you guys stand out, because yeah, like there are definitely some like synth rock and synth metal. I mean, like you mentioned Dance with the Dead. There's folks like Young Medicine, bands
Young
like
Medicine.
that. Yeah,
You're friends with Josh.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, they're great dudes.
I actually I want to credit them for making it okay to put halftime breakdowns in synthwave.
Oh, nice.
Because until I noticed that they were doing it and like killing it, I think when I discovered them is the same time as I was doing Maverick Hunter for the music for it, and that is why there is a breakdown in it. That's why there's a halftime breakdown.
Oh,
or
nice.
Like when you listen to the new EP with the Limit Breaker with the song Final Flash, that whole ending is because bands like Young Medicine showed me that it's okay to do that. So credit to them.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, because that's also really cool too. Just how, like, I mean, I feel like that's like a great indication of like the synthwave scene like growing and developing, and like artists influencing each other. Because that's the thing too. I mean, I know there's the whole argument like synthwave is dead, blah blah blah. But like it's cool to see things like evolve and grow like that and develop.
There's definitely a second wave, pun intended.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's coming, and I'm hoping we can ride that wave, pun intended again.
I love that very satisfied look. Like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, cool. Well, so you guys mentioned Thrill Killer and like the videos and such. So you guys do have a very distinct visual style. Like I know that I feel like there's some carryover between Thrill Killer and Megatronix. So how did that come about? Like with like, you know, like the Pit Viper shades and like the vest and stuff. Like, yeah. So where did that come from?
Well, Pit Viper was interesting. I found that I just happened to like their stuff years ago. Like I forgot if I bought a pair ahead of time or not, but we were in the middle of building parts for the third film, and I decided as kind of a Hail Mary, I was like, let's just email Pit Viper and show them what we're doing, like just show them what we're up to, and see if they want to, you know, support what we're doing. They were quick. They sent us over free shades, and they're like, "Hey, knock yourself out. Here you go. It's on us." And around that time, they submitted a bunch of them. They even, when we were on the Moto tour, they shipped a pair of Miami Nights down to Florida for my friend to pick up and give to us in our Orlando show. Then, funny enough, we played Miami the night afterwards, and my Miami Nights got lifted when I wasn't looking in Miami.
Oh,
and
no.
Pit Viper thought that was funny, and so they sent me another pair, which they're really, because they're so laid back about this. They sent me another pair, which I then used in this rock opera Space Kumite I was in. And so they would send stuff for anything I'm pretty much involved in, which of course Megatronix is involved with. They'll just send stuff. In fact, they got back to us with another message we have. They've hooked up the guitar player of Thrill Killer with some pairs. They gave Robbie the pair he's wearing right now. Funny enough, these were a pair that one of the few I bought because they had a half off sale. They hit us back after these just came in, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we can send you a pair." And I was like, because it broke my heart. I was like, man, but I got another one coming. So yeah, we have another shipment on the way. I'm wearing Pit Vipers on my new album cover, Monster Man. I've got the Miami Nights on the front of that one. I sent them that. Every time I'm busy and I got something involved in Pit Viper, I send Pit Viper photos. I'm like, "Hey, I've been repping your stuff, And they're like, "Yeah, man, we'll send more stuff your way." I would not be surprised if we have something near like well over $1,000 of free stuff they send us, and we love the material. Like this is, again, I bought this one because these got the Leonardos. I love them. I think the Violence is really cool. But I know the ones Robbie's wearing are from our last drops they gave us. But yeah, they're the best. Actually, these ones are one of the ones that Pit Viper sent us. It's called the Herbivores. Probably my favorite pair. Really fun. But these are new. It was an excuse to break out my semi-old white and blue jacket. But nice. Yeah, he's those guys are the bomb. And in a way of saying thanks, in Thrill Killer 3, Pit Viper sunglasses were introduced as kind of contraband. Like they're the most powerful, they're the coolest sunglasses in the time stream, and use them with extreme caution. And so like that's canon. Like there's no explanation of why they're dangerous, but just they're really cool. Handle them, with care or else,
And there was a short that we did leading up to that. Yeah. There's like this whole video of like all this like hilarious stuff going on, and then Rob twisted at the end and breaks the fourth wall, and he's like, He looks into the camera, he's like, "I got to get me a pair of those." And the ending is like an old like infomercial with the blue screen and like the 1-800 number and everything for Pit Viper. So we turned the entire thing into a big Pit Viper gag at the end.
Yeah, the bad guy Ortega, he sent a threatening VHS tape to the Time Cops, and so we were reviewing it, and it was in the style of a 1980s wrestling promo. And Snide, which is Robbie's character, responded with, he's like, "What do you think about your chances now?" And I said, well, because he has his lawyer, quote unquote, is also his sort of like wrestling manager character, this bad guy's dude. And I was like, "He looks like he smells funny, but I gotta say," and like the guy was like, "Those are some nice shades." And I pulled this on, guys, like, "Those are some nice shades. I gotta give me a pair." So by the next episode, I now was given what are the Hot Shots double wides, and those were some of the weaponry given to us by the Time Chief to take down Ortega. We just really needed some cool sunglasses to beat him. But yeah, like we are gigantic fans. I love their stuff. I'm
very blessed and appreciate that they do that.
Yeah, I almost have all the ones I want at this point. Like I've got on my live streams, actually, one of my friends, she hooked up some rewards now where basically if you spend enough points, you can pick a color, and I'll put those colored Pit Vipers on. And so I've got enough for pretty much any color you want. I've got them in my vault now. But yeah, they're superb. I think we finally got Sebastian of Thrill Killer into them. He has his first pair of 2000s coming in now. He's joined the club. So yeah, Pit Vipers are a lot of fun.
And some models are actually safety glasses. I wear Pit Vipers for safety glasses at work. There's the 7 Plus certified. They're not exactly bulletproof, but they will protect you in the event of danger. They've saved my eyeballs twice, legit.
I've used mine when we built a recording studio in our practice place with insulation and everything, and my Miami Nights doubled as good safety glasses for me.
So they're aesthetic and they're safe.
Yep.
Pit Viper sunglasses. Buy Pit Viper. No, that's really cool. That you guys are obviously super into them, but that you've also developed that relationship with them as a company, so that way, like, you I mean, I feel like that's almost like influencer marketing or whatever, where it's like, yeah, you know, like you rep their stuff and like show it off, like, yeah, like, yeah, look how cool this is, and then they just like send you just like boxes of them.
Right, to answer the other half of the question, the thing about the vest and the aesthetic, part of it does come from, we already had it because of the Thrill Killer videos, but then the other part of it comes from like there's really two big aesthetics that I've noticed in synthwave. You're either Miami Vice with the suit jacket and the rolled up sleeves and the shirt and the turtleneck with the gold chain, or you're full on dark synth, and that's kind of metal, a little bit metal. I just wanted us to look like NPCs out of Streets of Rage. We were just like, it's, you know, it's in the middle. Rob's got his jacket vest. I made this battle vest, like, and with the back patches and everything. I got patches. I even bootleg patches from synthwave folks that like don't even have one. Like, where is it? That's a bootleg Watch Out for Snakes patch. I'm the only one that's got that.
Oh, that's rad.
There's some. That's the only Michael Oakley patch that exists. But so yeah, we just kind of wanted to look like Streets of Rage, kind of what's the other game? Final Fight, like bad dudes NPCs. So that's kind of where that came from, and the Pit Vipers just go with it.
I've always wanted to, with my color stuff, you know, I did a lot of stuff with again, like power metal and hard rock over the years, and I think one of the things that woke me up to at least the way that I dress was the 80s collaboration hearing aid stars, the Dio thing, kind of We Are the World metal thing. And I always remembered how Jeff Tate looked during that. Jeff had this awesome aesthetic going on. His sunglasses, he had all like white outfit with like a black muscle shirt. But more importantly, I thought the white really commanded kind of just in almost like a presence to Jeff. Because in that performance, he was one of the top singers in the industry at the time. This guy was a force to be reckoned with. And I always felt that it was kind of like when you go to high school prom, like when everyone has like all the black limos, whoever shows up in the white limo, just that one little color change, it stands out. So back in the day, I just noticed that, you know, all these metal guys just looked so similar. And so I got curious, like how could I do the opposite and stand out? And so I became a fan of like wearing white in general when you're doing the more heavy stuff just to stand out. And so I experimented, and the black and white vest I typically wear, actually, I've been using that one for some time. I started wearing that one in 2015 with Aries. And that had just been something I'd had in my wardrobe for a while, and it just carried over. It was like my go-to hard rock metal outfit, which then I expanded. Then I started getting other colors. Like this is a blue and white version of it. There's a red and white one I use for my solo album cover. But that was kind of my approach of it. I felt that the bolder colors you had, the more presence you commanded. And like one of my favorite examples was, I remember this Aries did a show years ago. I think it was Sidebar, some last Sidebar. But I remember this old lady was like, you know, I saw those bright colors you're wearing, and I thought you were kind of a jerk. But then, like, I saw you perform, and I felt like kind of earned those colors. And for part of me, it was kind of like, thanks. That was kind of the point. I wanted to be like, you know, if you be as loud as you can visually, as long as you can at least, I guess, deliver performance-wise. So it's almost like a call to attention. Like, you know, I think that's kind of what we look like as well. It's kind of like we mean business. It's very easy in any style to fall into an aesthetic that gets repetitive. And sometimes I actually have a bingo game I play where if I hear, like, I remember one time I thought of the most kind of generic power metal name I could. I won't say the name because this band actually existed when I looked. And I made a bingo game of all the things I thought they were going to be, and I nailed it. It was like music video in the woods. They were going to have, at least one guy's going to have black arm bracers, like with the old medieval ones. Long hair, black t-shirts, blue jeans or black jeans, studded belt. Songs about the genre itself, like about metal. And we don't even know what it is. We don't know. Like metal songs have been talking about fighting for metal for over 30 years. I don't know who this adversary is, but they're the most formidable adversary in the history of music because we still haven't beat him. We're like, how do you fight for metal? Do you go to Congress? Like, do you sit down and like testify? So like,
technically, D. Snyder did.
Oh yeah,
I guess he sort of fought for metal.
That should have been it, but nope.
Like, my opinion about a lot of power metal stuff, you go like straight cheesy power metal, I want to see you go all the way. Like if you're like Manowar, that's cool. Like if you're signing your record contract in blood, I'm down for this. This is entertaining. Like that's cool. Like if you dudes are like you're jacked, you know, you're like you're just totally studded out and you got ridiculous lyrics. Like, you know, if you're not into metal, you're not my friend. Wimps posers leave the hall. Like I'm cool with that. Yeah, let's go. But I hate these half measures sometimes. But that's kind of my 2 cents of the power metal stuff. You know, try to do the opposite in many ways.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, it's funny too that you mentioned that, because with the whole fight for metal thing, because yeah, exactly. I mean, like I've been listening to Manowar recently, and like even like a lot of their older stuff, especially, it's exactly that. You know, kings of metal. You know, like, metal must be defended. It's just like, from who though? But
Kings of Metal, I gotta say, that was one of the only albums where I had to delete one of the songs off the catalog.
Oh no.
I think you might know which one it is. It has a very awkward topic. It's 2 words, starts with a P, second word starts with an S. It's that one. I was like, oh my god. Like I like most of the rest of the album, but that one was like, what are you thinking? Like, what's wrong with you guys? It's like, okay, I'm sure, are you familiar with Hail and Kill?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's like, that song's really cool except for 2 lyrics. Like there's one in the beginning about the sword being wet. That part was like, like I remember I was at a band that wanted to cover that, and I was like, I'll do it, except we're cutting that line, and then we're cutting that thing about the women and they're crying and stuff. Like, cool, bro. Like, let's get back to killing. That's cool. Like,
yeah.
But I joke about it sometimes. Like, I like a lot of their music. It's really cool, but sometimes it's go off the rails with some of the creepy stuff. But I appreciate their aesthetic. Like a lot of times in metal, it's like they always do this, again, half measures. Like it's power metal, as far as I'm concerned, unless you have an aesthetic you're aiming for. Like I think at Megatronix, we kind of are able to play around with topics like Unicron and Mega Man and stuff. But like if you're going straight power metal, it's like making a cheeseburger. You got to have the high head voice vocals. You need the double bass drums. You need ripping guitar solos. You got to have anthems. And sometimes you got to make ambiguous songs about metal. Like it doesn't really mean much of anything, but it's awesome. Like it's like you're having it. It's like a good time. It's like watching a 1970s Godzilla movie. We're not here for the plot. We're not here to listen to some existential lyrics about some deep quanderings. Like, dude, it's like if you're not into metal, you're not my friend. And so when I see bands,
you have to have steel in there too.
Oh, yeah.
Usually fire and steel, yeah.
Fire and steel.
And so like, yeah, but it's like, we know what we want to get, and
yeah.
I hate it when I see the bands like try to take themselves too seriously. If you want to get that serious, then like try a different style, or do like maybe some prog or something. I don't know. But power, we're here to have a good time and raise and pump our fists, bro. Like you better be ripping some awesome high notes out, and your solos may be crazy. And I want to hear some ridiculous lyrics about kill with power. Like what even is that? I don't know, but it sounds cool, dude. So like. Anyways, it's a gripe I've had for years, where it's just kind of like I'll see someone, it's like, this song is about the duality of life and death. Dude, come on, you're in a band called Steel Hunter. Like, this is not that deep, bro. Like we have a couple deep songs I write about, but we get away with it because we have a little different aesthetic. But if we went straight power metal, this is not the place for sophistication. This is a place to pump your fists.
Absolutely. Well, that's definitely one of the big appeals of power metal, is just how ridiculous and over the top it is. But like it's very self-aware. Like it knows how ridiculous and over the top it is. And because I mean, like when you're saying kill with power, that just makes you. I think that's a Beast in Black lyric, right?
It's a Manowar song.
Okay.
Yeah, I just pick a lot of theirs because there's some of the songs, like Metal Warriors. Every one of us has heard the call. Like even hard. Like I remember today, after 15 years of knowing the song, I was listening to Hearing Aid, because there may or may not be a big collaboration that coming up soon. Wink, wink. As I was listening to it, I realized verse 1 has the word night in 2 different lines, and then their vocabulary already ran out. And I kind of appreciate it, like they didn't care. It's like, sometime in the night when you're feeling the cold, take a look in the sky above you. Those are faces in the light. It's like later they hit night again, I think, and I was like, they just totally just did it twice. Dio doesn't care. This is kind of I appreciate that. That's awesome.
Well, that's that reminds me too of like Dragon Force, for example. I mean, I remember when I first got into them was when Inhuman Rampage came out with Through the Fire and Flames and all that, when they were doing
Guitar Hero,
yeah, exactly. And but then doing that, going back to some of their previous ones, like Sonic Firestorm, Valley of the Damned.
Oh, yeah.
It's like they're still like their stuff. there's not a lot of depth to it. It's just
Not
like
at all.
big epic heroes and fire and dragon and swords and stuff, and it's cheesy as hell.
I
but
like it, yeah.
That's what makes it fun.
It's
But
like the
then
title.
yeah, like ironically though, they're taking our aesthetic. Have you noticed that?
Yes, that's been the big thing, because I know like I can remember there was kind of a controversy about that with the new Dragon Force album. I think it was just the cover, but like they had the whole like synthy like.
They're still doing it. They have like 2 giant arcade machines on stage with them that are playing like visuals, and like they're going for it. But I mean, they have synthesizer in it, but they're like. I want to say Dragon Force now is like if you took Megatronix and made it 80% power metal and 20% synthwave.
What I find interesting about the title of their most famous song, "Through the Fire and the Flames," it's kind of charmingly redundant.
Oh yeah.
Like,
yeah,
why don't you just call it "Through the Fire"?
Yeah.
Fire
and flames.
Like, wouldn't it that's a hat on a hat. Like you already are through the fire. Like, aren't you already in the flames? Aren't they the same thing? Yeah. You know, that's like through the oceans and the water. Like, isn't it the same thing? Whatever. Like, I've been in so many projects where like that I kind of appreciate, because they don't care. It's about the delivery of the vocals. It's the melodies, how the ZP's soaring vocals, the musicianship. It's even if it was about something deep. It's so rapid fire and so high that's like we couldn't even. It's irrelevant. Like it's about the execution of the song. Hearing Aid Stars. I have no idea what that song is about, but it's great. Like, I don't know if they're talking about being celestial stars or they're bragging about how famous they are. I don't know, but it's a cool song. So that's kind of where I am with power metal. It's like, dude, this isn't. Don't write about your some existential quandaries you found out because you dumped somebody on Facebook. I want to hear about battle axes and all this fun stuff, man. This is, again, it's like watching a Godzilla movie in the 70s. We're not here for a deep plot. We're watching monsters wrestle in a city. Like, I want to see Godzilla do a flying drop kick and then dance about it. Like, that's why I'm here.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, like, so one of my favorites, and I know there's been some controversy around them, but Glory Hammer. They like there's they like that's kind of the whole thing, is that like they are very winky, very self-aware, like, in an epic wars fight and stuff like that, and like they're just totally silly, and that's the fun of it.
I mean, I don't Hammer. Like, for instance, one of my favorite power metal bands of all time is Hammerfall, and they're never that overly serious. Half their songs, like they have a song called "Let the Hammer Fall," another song called "Hammerfall." I don't know what either one about, but I'm pretty sure it's pretty. Lyrically, they're pretty redundant. Yeah. At this point, it's happened already. But I'm happy to hear you explain in excruciating detail how it's going to fall. Like, as long as you guys are still ripping with. And they're relatively formulaic, but I kind of like it. It's like listening to an AC/DC album. Like, even those guys are self-aware. I believe there's a quote from Angus Young where they're like, people say we wrote 10 songs of the same, 10 albums of the same songs. I have to correct them. We wrote 11 songs, or 11 albums for the same song. It's like, yeah, dude, like that's what I want to listen to, man. Like, you got to find that fine line. And I think with Megatronix, we have a little more freedom because we're merging a few different styles visually and audibly. And, synthwave in general is tricky. I think synthwave, it's more about the appreciation of the aesthetic. So lyrically, you really can't get away with writing about things that are too complicated. I take solace in the fact that if I want to write about like existentially deep things, usually that's for Thrill Killer. Like Thrill Killer, I can write about more almost like Bad Religion-esque topics. Sometimes I can sneak them in other songs. But I think sometimes lyrically, it's important to take a step back and look at the forest through the trees. Especially with like a synthwave song, like a lot of these traditional synth pop songs, it's Take Me Home Tonight, for instance, was not about anything deep. In fact, I know the Be My Little Baby part should have been what Eddie Money sung, but he thought it would sound too wimpish, so he just brought in one lady to sing that one part. Easiest duet ever. She has to come in for one time. Be My Little Baby, that's it. She's done for the night. Cut the check. Point is, like, that's what we're celebrating here. I mean, Dear to Diana, fantastic pop song, but it's not exactly about feeding, or curing world hunger, and it doesn't have to be. It's just it's more about the aesthetic and the experience. So, anyways, we have we found there's a niche lyrically I can fulfill here. Like, if I write about, Vegeta, this is the place, and it fits well. Highlander, it's this kind of, again, niche where we're allowed to hit a lot of these topics without it sounding forced or on the nose. Anywhere else, like Final Flash, it'd be very hard not to make like a nerd metal song, kind of like tongue in cheek. But with this, you get away with it and make it sound authentic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, like musically, I kind of don't go into it thinking I want to make something that sounds exactly like a feeling or anything. It just kind of comes out whenever it is, and then there'll be a song at the end of it. The only things I really go into it thinking about, could this be boss fight music?
Mm-hmm.
Is one thing that I keep in mind. Like, do I want to make it straight boss fight? Do I want to make it very ballad? Like, as far as like, do I want to make it a ballad? Do I want to make it an ear puncher, or do I want to make it so you could just dance to it? Because there's everything in synthwave's danceable,
Mm-hmm.
and I enjoy electronic music and I enjoy dance music. Jesse Street Cleaner will even attest to that, because he and I will sit here and we'll figure out like old 90s dance, like Euro dance stuff on the keyboard, and just send each other videos of like, figured that part out. I think the last thing I sent him though was Enya. Like, I figured out how to play Sail Away.
Oh, cool.
I was like, yeah. I was like, all right, you're up. But yeah, the musically, it's either boss fight music, danceable, or just straight ballad. And as long as it has enough synthesizer in it to balance out the metal, that's it.
There you go. Well, yeah, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Okay, what I find is interesting about synthwave too is a lot of the ballads, again, to hit the aesthetic of synthwave, you really don't have too many options to make it sound like authentic. Typically, it's almost always got to be about a breakup. And I've kind of made a running gag based on the collaboration I've done with Megatronix, Power Up, and whatnot, that I've kind of on the side after writing a bunch of these, I was like, dude, I am running out of ex-girlfriends. Like, it's not even that I want to write about him. It's just kind of like, dude, this is a breakup song. This is definitely a breakup song. Oh, man. So, like, it's been kind of a running thing where I was just kind of like, because they did a song on my album called Gloria recently, and that I was very happy with. But, like, after that, with us, Prisoners of Silence, Line of Fire, it's just been a kind of running joke. I'm like, dude, I don't know. I gotta get back into the dating world soon, because I'm out. Like, I'm just running out.
It's funny. He the Power Rod brings up Line of Fire, because I feel like if there's like the purest example Megatronix wise of what we were just talking about with the ballad and everything, that's 100% it. The music for that was originally a piano sonata I wrote like an hour after a breakup.
Oh, damn.
I was working on a TV show, and the showrunner was like, can you do a piano version of the theme? So I did that, and then I took all the piano work and translated it to analog synthesizer, and it hit. And then like about halfway through it, I was like, I want to go, like, I just want to flip this and turn it into a full Metallica Unforgiven solo. So it's like how the Unforgiven is like very, very somber, and even in the heavy part it's somber. Mm-hmm. But then the solo is like here, and then it just like full send. So Line of Fire is 100%. I think that's the ballad. How Rob likes to say that I Fight Time is the goal to top as far as like every other song, but I Line of Fire is going to be the one to beat for a ballad. And when it happens, it happens. I don't know how to do it personally.
No, that's cool that you guys have these like bars and goals set for yourself. Because I remember you mentioned that before. How I Fight Time. That's like your like goals. Like goals. Like you start. That was like because that was the first Megatronix song, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like you guys did that, and you just set the bar so high, and so like that's really cool. How like you're still trying to like hit. You're trying to hit like that quality to just to constantly push yourself and constantly try to outdo yourselves.
And the great part, and well, actually not great. It's a little unfortunate. We don't know how we did it. Like, for the music, I just did it because I wanted to. Gave it to Rob. Rob put the words that he put on it. We gave it to the people, and the people took it and ran with it. And when we mess around with cover songs, the first cover we put out was just a cover that Rob and I both wanted to do, just because no one had really done it, and it was a favorite song of ours, and it was like, well, let's give it a crack. And Burning in the Third Degree, you could go look at the numbers. That dwarfs everything, even combined in like play counts.
Mhm.
Technically, we got lucky on it because the original isn't on Spotify.
Oh yeah, that'll definitely
But
do
then,
it.
yeah, but then you can go to like our YouTube and people, Megatronix is 100% exists because of fans.
Yeah.
Fans wanted us to make a whole album. We did. Fans decided that our cover of Burning in the Third Degree was the jam. Blew the numbers up on it. Yeah, and that really is kind of what synthwave is too, as far as like the artist part of it. Like the people, the fans are going to make you.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like almost like back in the day, like. And this is funny because everything's supposed to be like reminiscent of like retro, right? Like Spotify and folks that come in the groups are like, hey, drop your song for this playlist. I liken that to when you used to trade tapes,
Mm-hmm.
or when you even used to do bird CDs and trade CDs and make mixtapes or mix CDs and spread those around. Like the Spotify playlist, like, hey, give me your track to put on this, and then people share it. I want to say is like the 2021 version of that. And you know, that's how people find us. The algorithm has been very kind to us in some places. Google, you heard that, right? Okay, good. Like, yeah. So again, the fans made us to this point.
Yeah, the band pays for itself. It's I don't think we've had to pay a single dime ever since those came out in any studio sessions. I mean, we pretty much invest everything the band. The fans pay us. Like anything they pay us goes right back into like creating music.
Mm-hmm.
We find ourselves breaking even a lot building a release, but we don't have to pay for it. It's just it's fan funded at this point.
Very cool. Yeah. Because you guys had mentioned how you did like always like you spent like $30 in promotion at the beginning. That's basically been it.
Yeah.
And
Something we
very
at some
grateful
point,
for it.
Yeah, something at some point we're probably gonna want to get a little heavier on, but that's something to we're gonna be putting our heads together for a little bit later. But yeah, it's quite startling how I think when you release an album, you probably want to pay a good chunk of whatever that amount is. You want to kind of copy that and then make that the budget of advertising. We haven't, and the fact that we haven't, and we're sitting on like our limit breaker right now on Spotify. I'm looking at it right now, 6.2 thousand plays, not counting Notorious. Notorious, the single, 7.3 thousand. Power Waves, 255,000.6. So that's pretty much just organic word of mouth. At some point, we're gonna want to push a little further.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's where we are.
Oh, and how Rob was saying that the Megatronix is fan funded. You could buy that. You could buy this. Some people go buy this and help us make more of them.
Yeah, because you guys have your Etsy store with like all of the Megatronix merch, right?
Yes.
Yep.
We went full Kiss. If you could put Megatronix on it, we're doing it. We have luggage. You could buy a roll-on. Yeah, you could buy an overhead roll-on like hard luggage bag that has the limit breaker artwork on it.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
I think that's the most ridiculous thing we have, but it's who has that?
Well,
It's also kind of like that's also kind of what it is when I make all this stuff. Like I'm like, who has that? Nobody has swimsuits. We have full one-piece swimsuits for the ladies or whoever wants to wear a one-piece swimsuit.
Mm-hmm.
I think the last thing I just made was a matching yoga workout set. It's a sports bra and yoga leggings that have like full Megatronix logos and aesthetic on it and everything.
Oh, nice.
We need to get these. We need to re-talk to them about making Megatronix these.
That'd be cool. I mean, because as much as you guys, like promote them and like you have that working relationship with them. I mean, like Megatronix Pit Viper shades. I feel like that's pretty much a given now.
We got to be what's the Gronkowski guy? We got to play for who's he on the Patriots or something now?
Yeah, Patriots.
We got to be NFL level or Twisted Tea to get the official Megatronix Pit Vipers.
Yeah, it's funny too. Like going back to the Pit Viper thing. So like I feel like I mainly just know Pit Viper through you guys, but I didn't realize it was part of the whole like boat bro culture and all that. I'm like, Megatronix is way cooler. Come on.
Yeah, no, we jumped on the Pit Viper. Again, we jumped on that train 2017. In fact, I've contacted Pit Viper kind of about one of those problems because they had a lot of kind of unsavory people kind of starting to try to I guess assume their brand. And so there's no secret that I have waged kind of a personal war against like anti-vaxxers, anti-maskers and stuff to very much comedic effect. It's been a lot of fun. I haven't done as much lately, but everything from, I moderate a nearly 200,000 member coronavirus group where like I do like Arnold Schwarzenegger style one-liners when one of them reveals themselves and just boot them out with like various gags and stuff. Or like I have a fake anti-mask group where I like make us look like absolute insane lunatics who are like so anti-mask that it makes the actual anti-maskers who don't realize it's a trap start questioning what side they're actually on. Like it's no surprise I'm very very against that kind of stuff. So I've hit them up. I was like, listen, keep sending us stuff. We're happy to kind of change how that image is portrayed. But they're cool guys. They definitely it definitely bothers them that a lot of like a lot of not so cool people have been kind of trying to turn their glasses into almost like a political thing. So yeah, we got their back here. We have been following them before it was cool, and we intend to continue to follow them.
Excellent. No, that's great. And good on you guys for fighting that good fight.
Yeah,
So,
those guys. Yeah, we're.
Yeah. So it's like I was gonna say too. So speaking of like masks, like getting back out in the world, you guys just recently played Neon Rosefest. How was that?
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Rob, you go first.
Yeah. Safe first off. Robbie and I got vaccinated, and so we've been pretty. We've been staying on top of things in terms of COVID, in terms of safety stuff. No real blips. I just actually saw on Twitter one of the performers tested positive. I just saw that. Yeah, I'm not sure if you saw that. One of the guys was there. I just saw that. We are fine. We had a wonderful time. I'd love to go back and do it at a later slot, perhaps. That's the only thing I would potentially want to change. It was great meeting Karen. It was great, meeting Neon Fox. A lot of Cyber L. We had a great crowd we worked with, especially in the later half. They, like No Easy Way Out. People were engaged in that one with us pretty well. And it was just nice to be up there. That was our first time performing live since January 2020.
Wow.
So it was definitely shaking off rust. I know we had some very busy practices before that. I listened for a bunch of stuff we had to really tighten up on, and it was definitely something we worked hard for to get ready for it. The people there were great. Night Razor, he was gracious enough to help us with rides.
That was Knight Rider 87.
Rider, yeah, right. So right. Sorry about that. I think it's because I was looking at that thread and I saw his name. My bad. And yeah, so like Knight Rider was super cool. It's great hanging out with him. Really funny guy. And hopefully this is the only positive case we've seen from it. Again, it's been so long that based on the incubation period, like as we were doing an interview, I pulled on my calendar and I was like adding the days together and stuff. And yeah, no, it looks like if he picked it up, today is the 6th, the 21st. He likely picked it up a few days after Neon Rose. So yeah, I would say it was a success being in terms of safety. I hope he gets better faster. I mean, he posted it on his Twitter, so I think it's fair game to mention it. But yes, watch out for snakes. I hope he gets better soon. He's a good guy.
Shit, yeah, I didn't see that.
Yeah, I sent a message privately about that one. Hopefully he gets better soon, because he's been a wonderful guy. I know, actually, I think we have some plans to play with him in about a month or 2 months. So yeah, we'll have to check in with him.
Yeah, but yeah, as far as my observation, you got to give it up to the Synth City PDX folks for keeping a tight ship. So we were only in town for the day we played. The days after Thursday, I can't comment on. However, our day was in one of the smaller of the few venues that they did. Great place, the Hollow. Oh, damn it, I can't remember it. But it was one of the smaller ones. They were very hard, mandatory. That mask ain't coming off. I visually saw the door people like vaccination card, you know, here's a mask if you don't got one. They were on top of it, and like even folks that were, you know, taking pictures, I could tell that some were like, do I wear my mask or do I pull it down for the picture?
Mhm.
But as far as safety, the day we were there, great. Like Rob was saying, it was great. It was great putting faces to voices. Karin and Neon Fox again, and we had met Matt Watch Out for Snakes at MagFest, but I don't think we got much time to mingle with him. But we got to see him. We made friends with Knight Rider 87. Again, Rob was saying he picked us up from the airport and dropped us off. Super cool guy. Yeah, it was a success. I think the only thing that gets me, and I think this every time going in or going on stage, the first two songs, that's when people are going to figure out if they like us or not, because people might hear the name and maybe assume that because it's a synthwave show that that's all we are. I know they see me up there with the guitar and all this, and I'm going to do something with it, right? And they know there might be a little bit of metal, but I don't think they're aware of the full extent of the experience of what it is watching us live. And I only say that because of my direct metal band experience, Rob's stage experience and theater experience, and even Karin has, I think she defended us once on like, I can't remember the video, it might have been Maverick Hunter Live from Philly, or somebody did, where someone was like, what are they doing? And then it was either Karin or somebody else that came in and they were like, you don't even know what their experience is in, you know, music. So this is why we're like doing like this while we're playing, and, you know, I'm doing windmills. So the point being, the first two songs, I feel like it takes folks a minute to realize what we're about to do, or realize what they've just clocked in for the next 40 minutes. And then, as Rob said, the later half of it, they were into it. You know, I was laying in a little bit. Yo, I want to do some screaming. I want to see the headbangers doing the headbanging, and on the mic. And, you know, the people that had the hair, like Knight Rider 87 was out there. He was windmilling with us, and the couple like crowd participation, like backup chants and stuff. Like, I'm like, lyrics are on the screen, because they are. We put them up there. And people were like chanting with us. And as far as the people digging us, I think we got them at the end. At the beginning, there was a lot of this, but, and again, you know, most of synthwave is like one guy with, you know, a laptop or keyboard or DJ equipment. So there's not a whole like almost like metal-ish concert experience on that. So there, you know, folks dance and they get into it and they woo and cheer. But with us, it's like there's some of that, but the rest of it's coming. We're like, get in here. We want you to like do some stuff. Like, I'm determined. I want the first wall of death in synthwave. I want it.
You had a funny instance there when we were doing sound check. It was one of the first times, actually, I had a sound guy ask me what effects I wanted on my voice, which never really happened. Usually I just plug right in, and I got my in-ears in, and I'm set. And it was interesting because one of the guys there was surprised. He's like, you don't want any effects in your voice? And I was like, I never really, maybe a little reverb, but this is all natural. It's just how we do it. But yeah, it was a funny exchange. It was like, yeah. I remember I was telling somebody in my label about my Aztec about the two. I was telling them that I was trying to figure out how to make Power Rob live, and I was like, yeah, am I just doing like a backing track? And if I do it, like just sing, in backup track? And they were like, oh wow, you want to sing live, like for real live? And I'm like, wait, what? Yeah, it's not how we do things in synthwave. I thought, yeah, I sing live, and it was just like, oh, that's really great. You want to do that? I'm like, that's not the question. Do I have a band? And I mean, is that live enough, where I just basically just have a backing track and just sing the whole time? Okay. But yeah, it just was so funny that apparently it's real, like real live vocals. They're less common than I thought. I've definitely noticed a lot of trickery going on, where I was like, my ear kind of just goes off, and I'm like, I'm not gonna say anything, but something sounds funny with that guy, and I don't know if that's live. But yeah,
needless to say, we're learning from synthwave, and synthwave's learning from us.
Yeah, every single thing up there is, at least the guitar and the vocals. That's organic. It's real.
But yeah, that's really interesting too, because I know as like more and more synthwave artists are playing live, like it's really interesting seeing them play like actual instruments. Like I remember so far, me personally, I've only been to 2 synthwave shows. So I saw the Midnight live and I saw Carpenter Brute live. And so with like Carpenter Brute, it's really cool because he's got like his whole like synth setup, and then he has a live guitarist and a live drummer. And then with the Midnight, like they like it's kind of a similar thing. So like Tim will have his the synthesized drums, but like little like pads. And so there's kind of like a live element to that, and then they'll Tyler will play guitar, and then they have Jesse, their live saxophonist, and then like now more and more like they're working with some other folks to have like more like live instruments. So it is interesting to see synthwave artists at least live going in that direction, where they have like the actual instruments. It's not just like playing over a couple of backing tracks.
Yeah.
I wish I knew the name of the person to credit them, but every once in a while in the synthwave group, I'll see this person post like I guess like a live set from home, and they have 8 synthesizers around them in a square. If you know who I'm talking about, like you've seen it, and they're the only ones that really post it. But they have like 8 synthesizers going around them in a rectangle, and they're doing everything they can with the 2 arms they have. I know Dance with the Dead, Tony, both of them, they play live guitar. Every once in a while, one of them will stay on guitar and the other one will drop the synth. And I know they just brought in a live drummer. They brought one in for overseas, and then they're about to US tour with a live drummer, and then stuff happened and that whole thing got stopped. Yeah, I don't have enough arms to do it. So until I have enough money to afford to pay a full band behind Megatronix, then we're going to kind of roll with the laptop guitar and vocal thing. But I don't think I see people try. To me, it looks like the folks that are dead serious about this are the ones that put in the, again, Dance with the Dead. They got 2 guitar players and a drummer. What's it? Perturbator's got him on a keyboard and a live drummer. We got The Way We Are. Like when FM84 comes out with Ollie, at least he's there doing keyboards with Ollie singing. Or the Midnight's got a full band. I think it's only limited by how serious are they about doing it, and how many people is it going to take to physically do this live. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, and that's the thing too. Like it is definitely finding that compromise to add that like live element to it. So it's not just like somebody going up and like pressing play on their computer.
I mean, even if it is that, there's still some kind of making music to it. Somebody had to make the music for them to push the play.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's not really a diss on anybody that does do that. It's just it's cool to see like the more organic or analog people playing like the instruments. It's like analog or something. I don't know.
No, I definitely know what you mean on that.
Oh, and then Street Cleaner plays live guitar. Watch Out for Snakes has his live guitar. Night Rider 87. It's a keyboard. Sometimes it's either 2 keyboards or a keyboard, and oh god, that guitar player is a shredder. And we use the same kind of guitars. I got to get with that guy. He's doing some stuff, and he's a cool dude, and he's now a fan. But yeah,
awesome. Yeah, no, speaking of your guitars, I would be remiss if I didn't bring up your Lucite guitar with the neon inlays.
Yeah.
Like that. Just I remember seeing a picture of that. I'm like, yeah, that is Megatronix.
That thing is stupid. Like, granted, I actually had to pay a little bit of money, or I had to pay to get it set up properly, but it works exactly how you would think a guitar made of 100% plastic would work. Most guitars that you get that have like the acrylic body at least have a wood neck. This doesn't. The entire thing, the neck, the body, everything on it is plastic other than like the guitar hardware.
Oh man.
To the point where like the neck, just to keep it in tune, has 2 truss rods.
Oh dang.
But but yeah, it's got it's LEDs all built into it, and then LEDs built into the neck. That how did somebody put it? That's that guitar was 100% purchased on the look at me. It had nothing to do with being able to play it. But I got it fixed. It works better now.
Mhm.
I know now to take it out of the case when I get to the venue so that it can come up to temperature, because it has to do that. Otherwise, it'll be completely out of tune.
For sure.
Found that out on one of the first shows we played. Upgraded the pickups. Now I just got to figure out a way to make it not weigh 19 pounds.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So that's why I built another Explorer that is wood, and it's not solid plastic, and that one's a 7-string, and then I modified the one. So I have taken all my guitars switched them to the aesthetic, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, geez, I can't imagine playing a 19-pound guitar. That's crazy.
I can't either. I didn't think it was going to be like that. I remember a long time ago, I had one of the Acrylic Series Warlock guitars. It was red, and that one had a wood neck, and that was nowhere near as heavy. And I don't know if it's maybe because it's more surface area, because it's an Explorer. It's under the bed, otherwise I'd drag it out and be like, look, that stays in the expensive like $200 vault case, because I need wood. Well, this is IKEA wood. There's not a scratch on it still.
Yeah.
And
Not.
no. I pull that out if I have the opportunity, legitimately, for like the last 2 songs.
Mm-hmm.
As like the big encore. And if I remember correctly, Carbon Killer is the only other person that I've seen have a guitar like that. He did have it first. His is like a Rhodes V shape, and it definitely has an ESP headstock on the end, but his LEDs are pink. So I want to get on stage with both of us, with me with that. So like I have the LED like James Hetfield, and he has like the LED Kirk Hammett.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'd be funny, but
that'd be cool.
I think he's overseas, so that's going to be hard to work out, because I'm not paying to fly that guitar anywhere. As heavy as that is, nope.
Oh man, for sure. No, that I imagine that would be an awesome visual. Just like dueling neon plastic guitars.
Mm-hmm. One day.
Yeah, one of these days. I mean, you guys are obviously getting bigger and bigger, so you never know.
I hope so.
Well,
so yeah, as soon as we're able to go, we got folks over there, the TW1 folks, Forged and Neons over there on the. We have some support. We have some support over in Russia even. Okay. As soon as we can get out of here, and we're allowed to go over there, like I've said it a million times, book us and we're there.
Nice.
One way or another.
So, speaking of, so what is next for Megatronix?
That's a good question, Rob.
Not quite sure. Figuring out some stuff potentially in the winter right now. Most of our focus was the EP, and I think right now we're just kind of taking it easy and just seeing how the EP does, I think. Yeah,
the backlog of bands that have been like recouping their rescheduled dates for tours has made it a little difficult to be like, okay, doors are open, let's go. I don't believe it's really anybody's fault that we kind of dropped it on that, because I don't think either of us expected for like the backlog to like fill up that fast. Mm-hmm. But wherever we can go, we're trying. I know we want to try to get out or back over to the West Coast for, we want to do a turbo drive. I know Matt Watch Out for Snakes has a thing going down. He's down in Atlanta or Georgia. I think it's Atlanta proper. Yeah. That he's trying to get a thing started down there. Faith in the Glitch. He's got Nightwave up in New York. And the Bunny X ladies are up there. So we have a little help and support up there. We're gonna try. We're either gonna start now, booking into summer of 2022. There's an event that it was just confirmed today that both Megatronix and Thrill Killer are playing on 2 separate days. I don't know if we should say what it is yet, because they haven't officially announced it. I know we've personally told a couple folks, but those 2 items are next on the list. I know that we've been talking to Record Club about possibly getting a Limit Breaker out on a record, like an LP.
Oh, nice.
I know that I sent the stems to somebody that for right now is going to be a secret remix. I don't want to say who it is yet.
Okay.
Because it's going to be exclusive to the vinyl.
Cool.
I think we're just kind of figuring out how to master our stuff for the vinyl for that to happen. Unfortunately, in that process, I kind of learned, unless somebody is willing to throw a crap ton of money at it, unfortunately, Powerwave probably is never going to be on vinyl. It's too long. And the way that vinyl works, it would have to be a double-sided double LP, so it'd be like 4 records.
Oh, geez, yeah.
Or it'd be 2 records, 4 sides, and that's a little bit of this.
Yeah, for sure.
But we have put that out on cassette. There are still some of those that exist out in the UK. The US one sold out in like less than 24 hours, which is great. Thank you, folks. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now, pushing Limit Breaker, and we'll see what happens.
Very cool. Well, was that awesome? Well, was there anything else you guys wanted to like mention or promote or anything like that, or?
So the best place and best way to support us is Bandcamp, obviously. That's megatronix.bandcamp.com. Our Instagram is where we post most of our pictures and little video clips and reels and everything, because so far that algorithm's the better one. That would be Megatronix Official on Instagram. The YouTube is also Megatronix Official. That's where we got most of the lyric videos. We have a full live setup there from the one live stream that we did. If you want to, check out the lyrics with some visuals, you can go there. The store, if you just go on Etsy and search Megatronix, we're the only thing that pops up. So that's where you can get all our physical goods, t-shirts. Like I was saying before, you can get a bathing suit. We have men's swim trunks. We have ladies' one pieces, or whoever wants to wear either one of those. You can buy flags. I know we have a full-size, like king-size bed comforter that has that on there, and I don't know why. 2 people have bought it. And I'm like, thank you. Like, what do you say to that? And then the Twitter is Megatronix Music, right, Rob?
I think so.
Yeah, and if you tweet Megatronix Music, we try to cross-platform everything at the same time, so it's kind of choose your social media. We haven't TikToked yet. Facebook exists. It is what it is on there. If you want to find us posting, most of our stuff is directly in the in the Synthwave group. But the official band one I also believe is Megatronix Official for Facebook as well.
All right, cool. All right. Yeah, well, it's funny too. You mentioned TikTok, like there. So I'm on there basically just like watch videos and stuff, and like for these I'll push like new episode of SYNTHWAVE Ultra with this person. I'll do a little intro, but like there are a lot of synthwave artists on there, but nobody's posted anything. So like they have their profiles, they're just empty.
Yeah, it's like you're kind of like I can't think of a way to show what Megatronix does in a minute.
Exactly.
So it's kind of like it's a little like we'll post. I know we've been doing some reels on Instagram because at least there it's like, hey, here's a clip of us practicing, getting ready for the Neon Rose, or at least there you could directly post like the full video, Instagram TVs.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like 2-3 videos on there. Yeah, the TikTok and reels, I'm not into it. I can't show this stuff in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, as of last night, my solo album Monster Man just came out under Aztec Records.
Awesome.
Very excited about that. It's got collaborations with a bunch of different artists. Lulva from Spain, Fulvio from Italy, Elevate the Sky from the West Coast, Stagger from Ohio, and Popcorn Kid from India. It's been a lot of work looking back to getting with my bands, kind of working back to what's familiar now. Definitely was an undertaking. I got to work with one guy. I actually found out midway through working with him that we were working on a song together via Google Translate. That was definitely a new experience.
Interesting.
Thankfully, Sebastian from Thrill Killer is native to. He's a native Spanish speaker, and he was incredibly helpful getting the word out to my friend in Louisville from over in Spain. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. We're gonna see how it does. And yeah, it's really it right now. Thrill Killer's got a lot of stuff we're working on at the moment. We got a new material we're building. We have a really fun collaboration cover that was proposed to us by Sebastian. Currently working that out, and you'll be seeing a lot more shows in the future.
Very cool.
I guess I'll throw one more in there. I like shouting out our friends, man.
Yeah, of course.
I like mentioning the people that help us and have gone way beyond anything we could have ever expected to help. People like you, thank you for having us here. Karin, Julian, Ashley Forged in Neon, Joe Loke, like the Rad Pack as they're called.
Mm-hmm.
The Night Ride FM folks, they don't need to play us as much as they do, and we're like everybody very much this again. Like Street Cleaner's been a great help. Pretty much every name that I've named in this are folks that have helped in one way or another. Bunny X, Faith in the Glitch, even Jack Sin, Dance with the Dead. I've talked to Tony a couple times. He's given me a couple pointers on like certain patches to use for synth. Again, the Synth City PDX people that had us out for Neon Rose, that whole crew, all those people. Watch out for Snakes. I don't know if I said him like 20 times already, but I love that guy.
Oh, yeah. He's a good dude for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who else? Iris over at the SYNTHWAVE group for being an admin and letting us like flood it sometimes with like promoting and stuff like that. Bit Viper Sunglasses. Who else? Who else do we need to shout out?
It might be all of them.
Yeah, we try to return the favor as much as possible to the folks that extend a hand to us, because like you were saying about the community, it's kind of like we need each other to we need to lift each other up. I think that's what the kids say, like lift up your girl and like promote each other and support each other. Zarina, she helped us a while ago too. I know she's kind of not doing straight hardcore or like straight synthwave anymore, but she's still killing it in her own way, and she still offers support and advices and everything. What other patches do I have on me? Michael Oakley, he's pretty cool. The big four, I guess, of dark synth for me: Perturbator, Brute, Dance with the Dead, and Street Cleaner, and yeah, thank you. Oh, and the band that got me into synthwave, Magic Sword.
Nice.
Shout out to all those people. Thank you.
Awesome. No, it's always nice to see that kind of like support and like community spirit. 'Cause that's one of the things that's so great about synthwave is that like
elevate the sky. I gotta say elevate the sky real quick, Scott. Elevate the sky. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm done.
No, yeah, he's really great too. But yeah, that's what's so cool about synthwave. It's just like it's very community oriented. Everybody's like always happy to like share each other's stuff and that kind of thing. So yeah, it's a great little scene.
Yep, synthwave won't die until we're done. As far as the fans go, as long as we keep it going, it's going to go. And Megatronix will be here to offer the heavy side of it as best we can.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are obviously killing it. So just keep on doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Power Rob, Dark Rob of Megatronix, thank you guys very much for joining me this evening. I really appreciate it. And yeah, so we'll see y'all next time.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. That was Power Rob and Dark Rob of Megatronix. Make sure to check out their music on Bandcamp and Spotify, as well as following them on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, as well as picking up exclusive merchandise on Etsy. Be sure to check out the SYNTHWAVE Ultra playlist on Spotify for tons and tons of synthwave of every kind. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe to this channel for more great synthwave conversations. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time on SYNTHWAVE Ultra.